Once upon a time, in a bustling town in Nigeria, there was a small, hidden shop that nobody seemed to notice. This shop was filled with old, dusty objects from all over the world. But among all these treasures, there was one that was the most mysterious, a large, ornate mirror with a golden frame, carved with strange symbols and patterns. The story begins with a young girl named Ada. Ada was curious and brave, always ready for an adventure. One sunny afternoon, while playing hide and seek with her friends, she stumbled upon this old shop. Pushing the creaky door open, she peeked inside and saw the mirror standing proudly in the corner, almost calling out to her. As she approached the mirror, she noticed something odd. Unlike other mirrors, this one did not show her reflection right away. Instead, the surface swirled with mist and then cleared to show not just Ada, but images of her thoughts and feelings. Shocked, Ada saw scenes from her past where she had been both kind and unkind, all displayed before her eyes. Curious, Ada visited the shopkeeper, an old woman named Mama Nkem, who knew many secrets. "Oh, you found the mirror of truth," Mama Nkem said with a knowing smile. "This mirror shows not just your outside, but your true self inside. It reveals what is often hidden, the good and the bad." Ada was fascinated. Day after day, she returned to the shop to look into the mirror. She saw her strengths, her bravery and kindness, but also her weaknesses and the times she had been less than honest. With each visit, Ada learned more about herself. She began to understand that acknowledging all parts of herself, even the not-so-good ones, was the way to truly know and accept herself. The news of the magic mirror spread through the town. One by one, people came to see their true reflections. Some were scared of what they might see, while others were eager to discover their inner selves. The mirror never lied, and this was not always easy for everyone. One day, a well-known man in the town, Mr. Okeke, decided to visit the mirror. Known for his wealth and respect in the community, everyone expected the mirror to reveal a man of good deeds and noble intentions. However, when Mr. Okeke looked into the mirror, the images that appeared shocked everyone. The mirror showed Mr. Okeke in a different light, how he had been unfair to his workers and unkind to his family. Mr. Okeke was embarrassed and angry. He demanded that the mirror be destroyed, fearing that his reputation would be ruined. But Ada, who had come to see the mirror as a teacher, stood up to Mr. Okeke. "The mirror shows us not to judge ourselves too harshly, but to learn and grow," she said. "We all have shadows and light within us. We must accept and love all parts of ourselves." The crowd that had gathered nodded in agreement, and slowly, people started sharing their own stories of what the mirror had revealed to them. Instead of hiding from their truths, they began to accept and help each other overcome their flaws. The mirror had started to change the way people saw themselves and each other. As the days passed, the story of the mirror spread far beyond the town. People from nearby villages came to look into the mirror and discover their true selves. Ada continued to visit the mirror, each time learning something new about herself and how to be a better person. One evening, as the sun was setting, Ada stood before the mirror once again. This time, the images showed her future, visions of her helping her community and becoming a leader who was loved not just for her strengths but also for her ability to see and bring out the best in others. The story of Ada and the mirror of truth became a legend in her town. People learned that while the truth could be a double-edged sword, it was also a powerful tool for change and growth. The mirror, with all its challenges and revelations, taught them the importance of honesty, self-acceptance, and the love that comes from truly knowing oneself. And so, the story continues, with each person who steps in front of the mirror adding a new chapter, discovering hidden truths, facing personal challenges, and growing a little more. The mirror of truth remains in that old shop, waiting for the next curious soul to reveal not just their reflection, but their true self. One stormy night, when the winds howled through the town and rain lashed against the windows, the Cloaked Traveler arrived. He moved silently through the empty streets, his footsteps unheard over the roar of the storm. His destination was clear, the little shop with the magical mirror. Ada, sensing something amiss on this turbulent evening, had returned to the shop to check on Mama Nkem. As she neared the door, she noticed the faint outline of the Cloaked Traveler through the misted glass. Her heart raced with both fear and curiosity. Quietly, she pushed the door open just a crack, enough to peer inside without being noticed. Inside, the cloaked traveler stood before the mirror. Instead of revealing his true self, the mirror swirled with a deeper darkness, as if struggling against a force it had never encountered before. The air around the mirror shimmered with a strange energy, and the golden frame began to glow faintly. Mama Nkem, aware of the powerful presence, approached the traveler. "This mirror can offer you no good if you come with dark intentions," she warned in a stern but shaky voice. The traveler's response was a cold laugh. "I seek not self-knowledge but the power to peer into the souls of others. Imagine the secrets I could uncover, the truths I could exploit." Ada, realizing the danger the mirror and everyone around it were in, stepped forward, her presence now revealed. "The mirror is not meant for such purposes," she declared boldly. "It serves to teach and heal, not to harm or manipulate." A tense silence fell over the room, broken only by the pounding rain against the roof. The traveler turned towards Ada, his eyes gleaming with a mix of amusement and malice. "And what will you do to stop me, child?" he challenged. Drawing upon the courage she had gained from her many encounters with the mirror, Ada replied, "I will protect it, as will everyone in this town who has been touched by its truth." As if summoned by her words, the townspeople began to gather outside the shop, having seen the ominous signs of the storm and feeling a pull towards the mirror. They stood together, united by their shared experiences and the lessons they had learned from the mirror. The cloaked traveler saw the gathering crowd, the resolve in their eyes, and for the first time, hesitated. He turned back to the mirror, and this time, it cleared to show him not just his dark intentions, but what he could become if he chose a different path, a path of redemption and self-acceptance. Conflicted and overwhelmed by the powerful visions, the traveler stepped back, his facade of control crumbling. "This is not the end," he murmured, disappearing into the stormy night as mysteriously as he had arrived. The townspeople, led by Ada and Mama Nkem, entered the shop, their faces lit by the soft glow of candles. Together, they decided to safeguard the mirror, ensuring it would continue to serve as a beacon of truth and a source of healing. As days turned into weeks, the story of that night became another legend of the town. The mirror of truth had not only reflected the innermost selves of those who looked into it but had also protected itself and its keepers from the grasp of darkness. Yet, the mystery of the cloaked traveler lingered in Ada's mind. She knew in her heart that their paths would cross again, and the mirror's true test might still be ahead. For now, though, it remained in the little shop, a sentinel of truth in a world brimming with both light and shadows. Weeks turned into months, and life in the town settled into a gentle rhythm, with the mirror of truth continuing to attract seekers of self-discovery. The tales of that stormy night when the cloaked traveler challenged the mirror had spread far, adding a layer of mystique and allure to the shop. Mama Nkem, with Ada's frequent help, managed the flow of visitors, ensuring that everyone who came left with a better understanding of themselves and a respect for the truth the mirror revealed. One peaceful morning, as the sun painted the sky with brilliant streaks of orange and gold, a young woman named F arrived in the town. She was from a distant village, having traveled many days after hearing about the miraculous powers of the mirror. Her arrival, marked by an aura of quiet determination, piqued Ada's interest. Unlike others who came either out of curiosity or desperation, F seemed driven by a purpose that was deep and personal. F approached the mirror with a solemnity that filled the room. As she gazed into the reflective glass, the swirling mist within seemed to hesitate before slowly clearing, revealing not just images but playing out scenes from her life. Ada watched discreetly from a distance, observing the intense emotions flickering across F's face: joy, sorrow, pain, and finally, resolve. The mirror showed F's journey, the challenges she faced, and the deep secrets she held within her heart. It revealed her struggles with loss and her quest for redemption, culminating in her decision to seek out the mirror. As the final images faded away, F turned away from the mirror, her eyes wet with tears but also shining with a newfound clarity. Moved by F's experience, Ada approached her, offering a comforting hand. "The mirror shows us not just who we are, but also who we can be," Ada said gently. F nodded, her expression one of gratitude. "I needed to see, to understand my past to move forward. Now I know what I must do." Their conversation was interrupted by an unexpected commotion outside. The townspeople were gathering in the square, their faces marked by concern and curiosity. Ada and F stepped out to see what had caused the stir. In the midst of the crowd stood a figure, cloaked not in darkness but in the bright robes of a traveler. It was the Cloaked Traveler, but he was not as they remembered him. His demeanor had changed, the malicious air was gone, replaced by a humble, almost penitent bearing. "I have returned," he announced, his voice echoing slightly in the morning air. "Not to seek control or power, but to seek forgiveness and perhaps guidance." The vision the mirror showed me, of a path I could take towards redemption, has haunted me ever since. The townspeople murmured among themselves, surprised and wary of this new declaration. Ada, remembering the mirror's lessons on truth and acceptance, stepped forward. "Everyone deserves a chance to change," Ada addressed the crowd, then turned to the traveler. "If your intentions are true, the mirror will know, and so will we." The Cloaked Traveler nodded, moving towards the shop to once again stand before the mirror of truth. This time, the townspeople followed, curious to witness what would be revealed. As he stood before the mirror, everyone held their breath, waiting to see what truth would emerge. The mirror began to swirl, the golden frame glowing softly. Slowly, images appeared, scenes of the traveler aiding others on his journey back to the town, showing acts of kindness and courage. The mirror revealed his struggle with his past deeds and his sincere efforts to amend them. A collective sigh rippled through the crowd, mixed with whispers of surprise and tentative acceptance. It seemed the traveler truly sought to change, to rewrite his story into one of redemption. As the crowd dispersed, left to ponder the mirror's revelations and the nature of truth and change, Ada and F remained behind. They talked about the paths they had taken and the paths that lay ahead. The mirror of truth, silent and inscrutable in the shop, continued to reflect not just the realities of those who stood before it, but also the possibilities of what they might become. As the days turned to weeks, the town slowly warmed to the changed traveler. With the mirror's validation and Ada's advocacy, he found small ways to contribute to the community, mending old bridges with acts of genuine kindness. Meanwhile, F, influenced by her own revelations in the mirror, decided to stay in the town, feeling a connection to the people and the spirit of change that seemed to hover in the air. The shop with the mirror of truth became a kind of sanctuary not just for the townsfolk but for visitors from far and wide, all drawn by the promise of uncovering deeper truths about themselves. Ada, inspired by the transformations she witnessed, took on a more significant role beside Mama Nkem, learning the ancient stories and wisdoms that the old woman held. One crisp morning, as the sun cast long shadows over the cobblestone streets, a festival was held in honor of the Mirror of Truth. It had been a year since the traveler's return, and the community had chosen to celebrate the growth and healing brought about by the mirror's insights. Stalls lined the streets, children played freely, and music filled the air with vibrant beats. People shared stories of their encounters with the mirror, and how those moments had altered the courses of their lives. During the festival, Ada and the traveler stood before the town, beside the very mirror that had changed so many lives. Ada spoke first, her voice clear and strong. "This mirror has shown us that truth isn't just about seeing our flaws and strengths, but about understanding our potential to grow, to forgive, and to transform." Then, the traveler stepped forward, his voice tinged with emotion. "I came here as a man shrouded in darkness, seeking power for the wrong reasons. But this community, with its courage and compassion, guided by the truths revealed in this mirror, offered me a second chance. I stand before you all today, not just redeemed but reborn." The crowd listened, moved by the sincerity of the words spoken. As the speeches ended, Mama Nkem, wise and weathered, approached the mirror. With a gentle touch, she adjusted its frame, and beckoned Ada and the traveler to look into it once more. Together, they peered into the glass, where the mist swirled and then cleared to show not just their reflections, but a vision of the town itself, thriving, united, a tapestry woven from countless acts of courage and redemption. It was a powerful reminder that every individual's change contributed to the whole, a single thread strengthening the greater design. As the day faded into evening, and the festival wound down, the townspeople felt a renewed sense of community and purpose. They understood that the mirror was not just a fixture to be feared or revered, but a tool for reflection, in every sense of the word. Ada, standing beside the now peaceful traveler, looked at the mirror one last time. "It began with curiosity and fear," she mused, "but it brought us to a place of understanding and acceptance. May we always remember the power of truth, not just to reveal but to heal." With that, the mirror of truth remained in the little shop, an enduring symbol of the town's journey. And as night descended, The mirror reflected the moonlight, a silent guardian of all the hidden truths and potential each new day would bring. And so, the story of the mirror of truth and the town that it transformed concludes, but the lessons it taught remain, echoing in the hearts of all who dare to look within.